Hello everyone, this is the one. Today I'm going to be covering the last set of third kits for all weapons, and this is basically the last one to do. Every weapon will have had a third kit that hasn't had one with this project completed. As usual, be sure to check the description or pinned comment for all of the cards, and of course it contains the thread to all of the kits, so if you missed the first 16 kits, you can go take a look at it there, along with their custom-made design. So please take a look at that if you can. With that being said, let's discuss. So, the first kit is the Splash-O-Matic 9, which comes with Curling Bomb, Ultra Stamp, and 200 points for special. The basic idea behind this Splash was to be an aggressive version of a Splash, since it currently has no really super aggressive kit, and I felt it would be an interesting concept for a Splash. Splash has some nice aggressive properties. Main power-up can allow it to do 33.3 damage if you stack enough of it. It's very fast and has very little end lag and startup because it's a shorter range shooter than things like Tenatech, so it could be pretty mobile. And on top of that, it has fast fire rate, along with no jumping RNG at all, or RNG in general, meaning if you're accurate with it, you can get very quick kills, since you're never going to have to worry about your shots deviating off. Curling Bomb could be a useful approach tool. It could just allow you to move in a little bit easier, and just move towards opponents a bit better. It's an interesting way to help close the gap, and I felt it would work well with it. On top of that, I decided to give it Ultra Stamp. On top of needing to get Ultra Stamp because 3 weapons had to have Ultra Stamp at this point, I only had 2. I also decided it would be a good idea because it could definitely pair well with Curling. Baller was an interesting choice, but I felt Ultra Stamp fit it a little bit better. Imagine following a Curling with a Stamp at the ready and popping up and ambushing someone next to you. I think it could be an interesting option. Next up is the Elite Rapid Blaster Pro, which is basically supposed to be a more supportive version of the Rapid. This overall allows you to take advantage of your range and help out your teammates quite frequently. Its sub-weapon is Beacon, which can allow it to pressure opponents by giving your teammates free jumps in. It could potentially tank for you in rare situations and show you where opponents are, allowing you to follow up easier. I think it would be an overall rather interesting thing for it, and could be rather useful. On top of that, I gave it Tenna Missiles. It can use Tenna Missiles to follow up really easily, since it can take advantage of slight tick damage, and it can allow your teammates to start a push. I think it's a kit that pairs really well for it. On top of that, it's 180 points for special, so it'll actually be getting a decent amount of missiles for a blaster. Next up is the Midnight Ballpoint Splatling. Now, Ballpoint was an interesting one to do a twist on since it had some good kits already, but I ended up deciding to go with, again, a more supportive kit over here, so I decided to give it a wall similar to Heavy Deco. I feel Ballpoint could take better advantage of this wall, since it has more range and it could be useful for its close quarters combat mode, since it could defend itself well with it, and utilize its long range mode with some safe painting. On top of that, I also decided to give it Tenna Missiles with 210 points for special. Again, this could be useful for a more supportive version to allow teammates to help push in. I think this Ballpoint could actually be played a lot more aggressively without having to be paired with Mist and Inkjet, which maybe could work well for double backline comps on maps like Camp Triggerfish or Albacore Hotel, so it could give it some nice aggressive options that might work a little bit better, or just some interesting tools to work with. Finally, we have the Artillery Hydra Splatling, which is paired with Sprinkler and Booyah Bomb for 180p. Sprinkler is because it's one of the best sub-weapons for Hydra to have. It can help with its painting, help ink around it, help paint areas at a larger distance, and overall just help it get its special faster since Hydra doesn't paint terribly well. On top of that, Booyah Bomb is really useful for it. It allows it to be able to use it as a panic button to help put pressure on a zone, pretty much anything. Since Hydra is a lot more dangerous and heavy if it can get into a good position since it kills really fast, it could overall be a lot more useful to be able to utilize its position more aggressively. It overall used Booyah Bomb really differently than Remix, where rather than just spamming it or putting it on an objective, it could be used to push the main weapon to be more aggressive, or just overall be able to hold or pressure an area better, since it would complement the weapon very well. I think it'd be a bit interesting, and 180 points for special would allow it to get its special actually decently often, especially paired with Sprinkler, which is an issue that the custom Hydra Splatling has right now, since it's 200 points for special. And that is it. Let me know what your favorite out of all the 20 weapons is below, and yeah, if you guys have any other kit ideas, I'd love to hear. This is a project I've had an idea about doing since Splatoon 1, the idea of third kits for all weapons, and being able to actually do it over the course of these few months has been really interesting, and I hope you guys like the concept as well. With that being said, I'll see you all in another video. Bye-bye.